Hello, we are in the web version of AutoCAD. This is cloud-based version, so I'm going to do this chapter 2, exercise 8 um, in this so that you can see how you can use the cloud-based version of AutoCAD to get these drawings taken care of. You need to kind of watch the video, follow along. Nice thing about doing this way is you can start and stop the video. You can go back if you're not sure of the click sequence that I'm using. Just take your time, start and stop the video. I recommend that you kind of watch me go through it, then stop the video, back up, kind of try to follow along with the procedure that I'm getting and giving you here on this so that you can learn how to use AutoCAD and get your drawings taken care of. So we're going to start here with the new drawing. And I'm going to go into a few things here as we start just to kind of get some stuff set up. So we come into the drawing area of the web version. Just like in our normal full version of AutoCAD on our computers at school, we type in units. So you're going to get the settings screen. Now notice we're already set to decimal, but if you click on that, we're given the same units: architectural, decimal, engineering, fractional, scientific. So we're going to stay in decimal, and we're going to make that a 3-place decimal as far as our units. Angular settings stay the same with decimal degrees and 0. I can go to my object snap settings here, and you'll see right now I've got endpoint, tangent, and center selected. So we're good on those. Keep those in there. I got some tracking here. Now, this only gives me polar tracking. So this is one of the differences. I get polar tracking on this version, but I don't get the grid tracking and object snaps for a grid setting. But I do get the polar tracking that I can still use, and I can change that increment pretty much the same as on the full version as well. But this drawing we don't need polar tracking. And now I'm going to go to my preferences. You have two choices. I'm going to change mine to light. You'll see in the background how it changed the outline of the drawing area to a lighter one. Sometimes that's easier on your eyes. So check that out. We also have the ribbon. Now I'm going to show you where this is at in just a second. Selection settings between web standard and desktop. Keep that as it is. And down here in navigation, you got a zoom direction, standard, and reverse. Keep that as it is too, so you don't want to mess around with that. It will be different from what I'm showing you. So I'm going to click done. Now, let's talk about that other unit setting here. When we're drawing, to get to our drawing tools, we have to have the object properties button right here clicked, and we have our draw panel and our annotate panel or modify with all our tools in there. And so that's all right. We can do it that way if you want, but this version of the cloud-based version also gives us the ability and preferences to put the ribbon up here, so it's more like what we use on screen. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to click on for the ribbon. I'm done there as well. In our drawings, the first thing we do is units, and then we do limits. Now, if I try to type in limits on this version, I don't get that function. I don't get that tool. So we're not going to worry about it when we're drawing on the web version. However, when you go to bring it in the classroom and once you bring this drawing in and pull it into the full version of AutoCAD, then you can set your limits at that point. And we'll talk more about that later and why it is important to have limits set on your drawing. So the next step again, we do our units, then we do limits, and now we're going to create our layers. So here is my layers properties manager. So I've got my object line layer, and of course that's my white line, which is fine. I'm going to click plus here, to the plus button, to create a new layer. And let's go ahead and type in hidden. So here's my hidden line. I'm going to make that green. Okay, now as soon as I do that, notice my object line is still active. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to click on the hidden line layer to activate that. And under this layer properties here, I'm going to come down to this line type, and I'm going to change that to hidden. So here's a difference too. I don't have to load that in on the cloud version. It's already there. So unlike what I have to do on the full version. So next layer we're going to create is our center line. Center line layer, if you recall, that's going to be red, so I'm going to make that layer red. Again, my hidden line is active, so go up and click on center line to activate it. And here on our line type, come back down to the layers property, change that to center, so which is right there. So now I've got my object line layer, which is my 0, my center line, and my hidden line. I still need the dimension line layer, so I'm going to put dimension line. So we're going to make that blue, that cyan color, light blue. Click on that. Continuous line is fine with that. So we're good with continuous line on dimension line. And lastly, the last layer that I'm going to do for these drawings is the construction line layer. So if I need some construction lines, we're going to click on that, make that red as well. And if I go back and activate the construction line, you'll see that's a continuous line as well. Just a side note here, under these layer properties, we also have the ability to change line weight. I want you on all of these at the moment to keep them at the default setting. But if you click on that arrow, you'll see you can set the thickness of the line to a variety of different sizes on the millimeters here with that too. But for now, just be content with the default. So there is our layer properties set up. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. That is the way we're going to set up the drawing. So we still haven't saved it yet. So again, I always give you that warning to save and save often so you don't lose your work. We're about 7 minutes into this video right now. So I'm going to come up here. Here is the save as. So, and following our file naming system, so I'm going to click Save As. This is going to pop up. Now notice we're saving this in the cloud. So we're saving this on our version here, and you're the only one that'll have access to this at the moment. So I'm going to name this PivotArm, no space, capital P and capital A, hyphen, again, your first initial, and your last name. So if this were my drawing, I would actually have it as B. Curry. So you name it with your first initial and then your full last name, and click Save. That gets us started with what we need to do to set up this initial drawing. So I'm going to pause this video and stop it right here. So you can make sure that you have a good understanding of that. Then we will come back and we will do the actual drawing.